So for those of you who don't know me, or a lot of you who do, I used to do Judo. And what that is, it's a sport, not karate, but it's about throwing each other. So you grab each other by the collar of your thing, which is almost like the karate thing, except it's thicker and the material's made different, because you're supposed to be able to grab it, and there are like 100 different ways to flip somebody over your back or side kick them or whatever. You don't actually throw any punches or actually kick. You use their energy against them, almost, and their force and mass against them. So the taller you are, the better, because you're able to get under their hip and flip them over. I did this before football, so this is the first actual sport I'd actually done. And the first couple of weeks was hard work because I was not in any kind of physical condition to be able to do it smoothly. But I caught up eventually. The first thing they teach you is how to fall. Until you learn it, they teach you when you fall, you have to smack the ground as hard as you can. And the harder you get thrown, the harder you have to smack the ground. And the way that they explained this was because you hit the ground and all the force goes here, and by smacking the ground, all the shock waves of the force go through your arms. So you're supposed to, by smacking the ground really hard, you're putting the force through your arms. It's a really cool technique. It was interesting to learn the science behind that, why that was kind of important. Doing this in Italy as well, it's completely different language. So Italy's a different language as it is, but Judo itself has its own kind of lingo and language to learn. But once you pick up on it, it's not too bad. And I made friends over the course of a couple of months, and I kind of became a little popular there. There was a kid who tried to beat me up on the street once. Everybody heard about it and how Judo's just become useful, and they loved me for it. Sorry, there's a fly. When did we go? I think we went Tuesdays and Thursdays or something like that, or Wednesdays and Fridays. We went twice a week, every other day. And at first it's really fun. I go from having nothing to do to something fun to look forward to other than homework after school. Homework I never did, but I always sat and worried about it. So I got somewhere to go. I met people. I went out and did my own thing. It was pretty fun. In fact, there was a night where, this is a little bit off topic, but there was a night where my parents had made me a burger and left buns on the table to get ready. I get home, they're not there, and there's an empty plate, and I say, "Where's the bun?" And they go, "On the table." "No, it's not." "Yes, it is." "No, it's not." And I show them the empty plate, and then we see our dog, Molly, kind of pucker her ears behind her head and look really guilty, and we find out she ate the thing. Luckily, we left the burger in the fridge, so thank the Lord, because I was hungry. I got hungry about every other time after Judo. At first, not really, because working out makes you nauseous, and sometimes for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I wouldn't eat until my stomach settled a little bit. Sometimes we play these games where they kind of Judo enhancing, but also just kind of fun games to just kind of relax and be kids. One of them was you would get on the ground, everybody in this giant circle, okay? And you would crawl around. And the object of the game was to eliminate people by tagging them. Now you couldn't just tag them. It had to be a smack on the butt. So in America, I don't think the game would go very well, but we didn't sexualize it or anything, but we would crawl around, and it was actually a really fun game. You had to strategize and kind of figure out. I think I made it first once or twice. It's it's Judo Battle Royale. Original Fortnite. Something else that was kind of new to me was that when we grab each other, we fight against girls as well, obviously, and they hit puberty earlier there, so they have really big brown eyes. Is what I'm going to say. Use that euphemism. So grabbing their the dress or whatever. I don't know what they're called. The shirts you wear. You grab those, and grabbing that was awkward. Well, my gym teacher always put me, okay, there's that fly again. My judo instructor always put me with this girl, this one particular girl who's really good and always kicked my butt. I don't know why he keep putting me with her. But the first time did not know hardly anything, and he just says fight. And I had that moment, where do I grab her? What am I supposed to put? And before I could even entirely ask that, she had me on the ground already. That's judo. I had met my first girlfriend there, and that did not end well because I don't know, something happened and we just slowly, I don't know. So I broke up with her over text because anytime I tried to talk to her in person, she avoided me. I think she wanted to break up. And then after I told her that I was ready to break up, she said that it was mutual. Come to find out later, she's transgender. So I feel like that's my fault because I was her first and last boyfriend. That's fun to think about. But she was my first as well. You know what? That's a different story. It's a whole, I'll save that one for later. And then the ceremony for when you level up a belt is pretty cool. Well, first of all, they do halves. So like you would have your white belt, then half white, half yellow, and then entire yellow. And I went to judo for a year in 8th grade, so I made it up to yellow. But the ceremony they did in town up in Frascati near the piazza, and they would close all the roads and things, and like they would have this big thing, and at the end of it, the teacher would give you a certificate. I think we already got our belts like the week before or something, but he had given us our certificate, and it was the coolest thing. And I actually bonded with one of Kent's classmates. We become really good friends, so anytime we see each other, we really connect because we have this thing and bond. And the song he used to hum was Ho Hey by the Lumineers and Right Round. And so those two songs I kind of put with him. But yeah, there's some pictures, and it's an experience I'll never regret. It was one of the funnest times. There were days I was tired and barely able to just go, but once he went there, it was worth going. It's like working out in general. Once you do it, you feel better about it, but at first, you don't like the thought. But judo has had impact on my life in several ways. It got me prepped for football, and I say prepped, I was still not physically ready, but I was more ready than I was before, so there you go. Well, I hoped you enjoyed this week's episode of Storytime with Ethan. I will catch you next week. I'll be keeping in touch.